Hello, my name is Cody Payne, and in this presentation, I will be covering the 5 big topics of advanced data management. Those 5 topics are advanced queries, extract, transform, and load, or the ETL process, automating data movement, business intelligence, and cloud-based architecture. So the first topic is advanced queries. This has more to do with how we are importing our data from a source. That data is not always going to be clean and ready for us. We just have to make sure that it can implement with the system that we're using. So once that's done, we can give that process to a stored procedure, which can import that data for us whenever that stored procedure is run. After that, we can optimize our performance by ensuring that the server instance itself is operating at the functionality that it should be, and making sure that we have indexes on our tables in the proper places. So what's the point of all this? The point is to learn something. It's to take some data, organize it in a way that makes sense, and be able to find a pattern or information that pertains to us or your business. An example of that is this stored procedure that, when it's run, takes a variable from the user and then aggregates the data in the database to find the certain number of incidents that have happened depending on that variable that's been entered. So the next topic is extract, transform, and load, the ETL. So when we extract, we aren't concerned about how that data looks. We can worry about that later. What's important is that we get that data source and get it into a place that we can make it easy for us to use. So the next step, transforming, is where we can clean up our data to make it more readable. And we do that by either changing data types, adding or removing columns, and modifying how the data looks. Once that's all finished and our data is clean, we can load that data into an existing table, generally a data warehouse where other data exists and is ready to be queried. We do this using a process or an application called SSIS, in which we use precedence, constraints, and tasks to ensure that the data flow is done correctly. An example of this is here, where we're taking multiple sources and we are aggregating them, doing a conditional split to make sure that they are going in the right tables, and then loading that data into a destination based on a variable value. The next topic we have is automating data movement. So many times we shouldn't be doing things manually, especially repetitive tasks, and we definitely shouldn't be doing them during peak business hours. So SQL Server Agent is a tool that we can use to create jobs that have tasks and schedules attached to them that can run when we say they should run. So at midnight on a Monday or Sunday or something, we can say run this particular task. In addition to that, SQL Server Agent has a tool called Database Mail that can alert people that are concerned about that particular database. It can either give them failure messages, success messages, or information about that particular task that we've executed. Here is a example of the job activity monitor, where we have a few jobs already taking place, and we can see when they were last run, next run, and all that. Our next topic is business intelligence. So business intelligence is the process of gathering data and making it understandable for changing a business, modifying a business, making processes better, things like that. Generally, data is dumped into a large data warehouse that I already mentioned, and in order to take out the information that is pertinent to a certain audience, we take it out into what's called a data mart that's a little bit readable and a little bit easier to query. We also store this information in star or snowflake schemas. These schemas are used to bring data together and to create aggregates that we can use to analyze. So the power of business intelligence is really shown when we start using visualizations to represent a story. And this here is a report created from data on homicides, and we can see that when we select different things, the report will update based on that particular value. This gives businesses the ability to decide what processes should change if they can see any patterns, and how well things are going, things like that. So the next topic is cloud-based architecture. There are three big companies that support cloud-based architecture: Amazon Web Service, Google Cloud, and Microsoft Azure. So cloud-based architectures allow businesses to not have to rely on local servers to do the work. They also allow scalability up and down depending on how much storage that business needs. In that regard, it's very cost effective. Many of these clients only use a pay-as-you-use type model. So the uptime, scalability, cost effectiveness, and security generally outweigh the risk of potential data loss or outages. So the relevance of big data has increased in the last decade, with gigantic corporations needing to farm data from different places, and doing that it's essential for cloud architectures to be able to handle volume, variety, and velocity. Here is an example of using my data set to query on Google Cloud's big data. So my data set has about 640,000 records, and this was able to handle it just fine. But here, this is a shareable report. Anybody can see it that I give permission to, and it can help make some pretty hefty decisions about things. That's all I have for my report. Thank you for watching.